When we picture someone who needs saving, we usually imagine them thrashing around, yelling for a lifeboat, making it incredibly obvious that they are drowning. But today, our mission is to explore something far more hidden.
Oh, definitely.
We're taking a deep dive into an essay titled The Architecture of Resigned Nihilism, specifically focusing on the character Megumi Fushiguro, which actually makes it the perfect time to announce that ad-free listening and bonus special episodes are now available for the Philosophy of Anime on Patreon.
Yeah, it's a great time to check that out. And, this essay is just so compelling because it explores why some people secretly, almost invisibly, refuse to let themselves be saved.
Right, exactly.
Because for them, deciding they don't deserve a better life isn't a moment of weakness. It's a fully installed operating system running quietly in the background of someone who looks completely perfectly fine.
Okay, let's unpack this. The perfect embodiment of this hidden operating system is Megumi. He survives an unforgivable abandonment, but instead of raging against the world, he just adopts this flat, functional nihilism.
Yeah, that phrase, functional nihilism, is really the key here.
Oh, 100%.
This specific type of pain is so incredibly dangerous precisely because it masks itself as competence. Like, Megumi fights well. He fiercely protects the people around him, but he places a strict, immovable ceiling on what he'll let himself want for his own sake.
It makes me think of like a smartphone or a laptop that's permanently running in low power mode. Not because the battery is actually dead, but because the device expects to be unplugged forever. It cuts background processes and just does the bare minimum to keep the core systems running.
Wow, that is a really good way to put it.
Right. But listening to this, though, it sounds almost identical to high-functioning depression. Does the source make a clear distinction between the two?
What's fascinating here is that it's not clinical depression in the traditional sense. The source describes it as a quieter recalibration, basically learned helplessness with functional masking.
Functional masking. So how does that actually work in practice?
Well, to understand it, you have to look at the mechanism. Somewhere very early on, wanting things was proven to be a dangerous game for him.
Yeah, like it became a liability.
Exactly. His brain essentially rewired itself to associate hope with punishment. So as a defense mechanism, it cuts off hope just to keep him functioning. He hasn't stopped working, he's just stopped expecting good outcomes to be available to him personally.
Which is terrifying because nobody stages an intervention for someone who just seems realistic. To the outside world, that simply looks like pragmatism.
And because this condition masks itself as simple realism, it fundamentally alters a person's entire philosophy on life and struggle. It completely distorts Albert Camus's idea of Sisyphus.
Right, the guy pushing the boulder up the hill.
Yeah, Megumi is pushing that boulder up the mountain every single day, but unlike Camus's Sisyphus, he's entirely devoid of joy.
He does the heavy lifting, but he has quietly stopped imagining that there's anything at the top worth reaching. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let me push back on this idea. Isn't just pushing the boulder enough for survival? If you're getting through the day, protecting your friends, doing your job, why do we need to imagine the top?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, survival alone isn't living. Megumi's entire character arc is the show actively arguing against his nihilism.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. The story surrounds him with people who absolutely refuse to give up on him, proving that the boulder was never the whole story.
Yeah.
As the source puts it so powerfully, people don't need saving from monsters. They need someone to notice they stopped believing they were allowed to want anything.
Wow. They stopped believing they were allowed to want anything. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Let's treat this like a mirror. Is there an area in your life where hoping simply got too expensive and you just never rebudgeted for it?
It's a really vital question to sit with, and you don't have to force some bubbly optimism on yourself either.
No, definitely not.
Just ask what you would let yourself want this week if wanting it again were actually safe.
That is the real challenge. I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. If you did quietly rebudget for hope today, what is the very first entirely selfish thing you'd realize you actually want, but have been denying yourself simply because it felt too dangerous to ask for? Maybe it's finally time to take yourself off low power mode and find out.